Hi, Yella. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Ntanzi's bail bombshell. Okay, bail was refused. Remember back in 2022, but justice was controlled. That's what you want to talk about in this video. The refusal of Ntanzi's bail shocked many, but the real controversy isn't just the decision; it's how it happened. We are back at this conversation because Ubalo spoke about it last week on Friday. He said this week he's going to use those bail hearings records. Well, it was a drop in the ocean of what he said, but okay, let's talk about it. They refused, or the refusal of Ntanzi's bail hearing bail shocked many, but the real controversy isn't just the decision, it's how it happened. From Schedule 6 brutal reverse honors to Deputy JP Ledwaba assigning the case to himself. We will say assigning it to himself because at the time he was at the higher Ndonto. This deeps down or deeps dive unpacks whether this was a standard legal outcome or a moment that raises serious questions about judicial transparency and fairness in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Was this justice or control? That's what we are going to talk about in this video, okay? So let's say the most controversial part of the Ntanzi's bail refusal wasn't the refusal itself. It was who handled it and how it was handled. Because in a trial already surrounded by doubt, this decision didn't just close the door. It opened a much bigger question. And right now, back then, perhaps people had questions. There's a lot of things that were going on that are making us question everything, because from the onset, when it comes to the 5 men that are arrested or are accused for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, from day one they appeared in court, there were questions. South Africans were not believing it. By the time the real trial came through, there was a trial that went de novo, and then there's a trial that started in 2023. By that time, people were like, South Africans were questioning. Okay. And by that time, things were very shaky, and people, by the time these guys were arrested, and by the time the trial was ongoing, which was back in 2023, now the new trial, people were questioning a lot of things now. We were not believing, we were not understanding why is Bongani Ntanzi not given bail, etc. Now, fast forward to 2025, people are like, if Bongani Ntanzi can be refused a bail for a high-profile case, why is Katiso Molefe given bail? It doesn't matter how much money he has to pay, but it still looks unfair to us South Africans, especially as people that are not managed. Okay, now because now we end up asking a lot of questions as South Africans. Now, October 2022, after more than 2 years behind bars, Ntanzi applies for bail. I think that's when he got the outcome. That was October 2022, because I don't understand why the bail was not applied 2020. Why did Ntanzi not apply for the record is telling us now that the so-called bogus lawyer that he says he knows nothing about is the one that was blocking him from applying the bail. Yeah, I get it now. I remember now. Now he comes. Now he gets another lawyer. He tries to apply for bail. That lawyer botched that bail application. I won't even lie, even though there are questions about the hearing itself, etc. Yeah, so he applies for bail. This is not an ordinary bail application. It's a Schedule 6. That is why we are saying we don't understand. Indaba kaKatiso yenza si-question nokuthi, okay, ekanandi Pama Kudumana, we understand ukuthi why yena engenoyithola flight risk because she ran away. Fine. But now yenza si-question ke ubheka Bongani Ntanzi, why not? Uzabaleka yephi, do you understand? Which means the law flips the script. It's no longer the state proving why you should stay in jail. You must prove why you deserve to be free. That's what happened to Bongani Ntanzi. And not just any reason, exceptional circumstances. That's what Bongani Ntanzi dealt with when it comes to a situation yake. And also, the bail now ended up being refused by Ledwaba, Judge Ledwaba. Then came the twist. Deputy Judge President Ledwaba assigns the case to himself. I could be wrong, guys. I would say assigned because isn't he the one that assigns cases? Or the court manager does that, but how did the court manager assign it? Or perhaps they tried to get someone and ended up having, you know what, Judge, you are the one, anything could have happened. But to see him, yeah. I think that's what we are questioning as South Africans, okay? Now, the judgment hits hard for Ntanzi because he is supposed to be taken in as a first-time offender, no prior convictions, no prior arrest. This was the first time Ebanjwa, and this was the first time he was dealing with the law. Yeah, but why apply now after the state has already called witnesses? Maybe abanye abantu were asking that. Your affidavit is weak, your alibi questionable, your version of confessions not convincing. It's in Schedule 6, that's deadly. There was a lot that was going on because bail lives and lives, and dies on paper. Do you understand? If your affidavit collapses, your freedom collapses with it. I guess more than any sinister situation that could have happened. But let's be honest about one thing. When it comes to the TT application and everything, no, it was weak. It was not cut out for Senzo Meyiwa trial. It wasn't. It needed someone strong. It needed Mngomezulu to write it down, or a Mnisi, or the current Ramsipil to actually come in terms with it. Do you understand? So that's what happened when it comes to that. And now, but here is where more other issues were like uncomfortable. Things got very uncomfortable. A bail hearing is not a trial, right? It's not supposed to decide guilt. It's not supposed to deeply test credibility. So the question is, did this judgment cross that line? But did it start to look like a mini trial for Bongani Ntanzi? Was he understanding what was happening there? Do you understand? Now we get to the real controversy, self-assignment. You already heard what I was saying, but because he's a big boss, he's a big guy, a big don't there, we will always look at it like, what was happening there? Yes, legally it's allowed. He did nothing wrong. Under the Superior Courts Act, a Deputy Judge President, can allocate cases, even to themselves. But legality is not the same as legitimacy, okay? So, yeah, time will tell. This case is already drowning in allegations of cover-ups, police manipulation, institutional failure, and then the Deputy Judge President steps in personally. No explanation, no transparency, no random allocation. That's where the problem begins. That's where the problem begins. It makes South Africans ask a lot of questions. That's because in law, that's one rule above all. There's one rule above all. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Maybe back then we did not understand the magnitude of the entire situation as we are seeing right now. But yeah, a lot is happening, and is making us ask a lot of questions. That is why we are back at this question, asking these questions now. And when a senior judge takes control of a case this sensitive without explanation, what the public sees matters. So the things that we are thinking do matter. They matter a lot, what we are thinking. It matters. So yes, The law may support the refusal. The affidavit may have been weak. The delay may raise questions, but the process, that's where the real debate lives, the process of it all. Yeah, that's where. Now, imagine we are sitting now having Baloy, and we are going back to listen to those videos, and we're like, a lot of things were happening here, very wrong. Everything that was said, with statements, Zamapolisa, Kininda statements refusing Ntanzi's bail, everything that was said by Ubaloyi, there's a lot of questionable things that are, they address issues. You arrested someone at a web and in a house. What do you mean now that you don't know where he lives? So there was too much. And then that thing, the employer, the HR manager who said he Ntanzi was AWOL, that one was also not fair. There's a lot of things that destroyed chances for Ntanzi there. Okay. And now, because in a trial where trust is already fragile, choosing control over transparency may have protected the decision, but damage something far bigger, public confidence, because right now we are back at it. We are questioning a lot of things. We want to understand what's going on. How did we get here? Why did this and that happen? And why did people sit there and did nothing about it? There's a lot of things. So it is what it is, and we will continue asking questions as South Africans because we are not happy. We are not impressed with the things that are happening. We are like wondering because, especially with the July 6th media conference about judicial, SEPs, NPA. So we are put in a pen where we are going to be asking and fry everyone because we are seeking clarity. What is going on here? Why is these things happening? Why? Who? Do you understand? There's going to be a lot of accusation flying. Now, after that, we hear accusations from our advocates for accusing Abo Ledwaba, Judge Judge Justice Justice who Mlambo. Bonke, they are being accused of being bribed in 35 million rand, dividing it to hey, there's a lot. Now the question that I have, who gave this 35 million? Where was the 35 million coming from? Where was the 35 million coming from? It needs in South Africa. So we have a lot of questions. What are your thoughts when it comes to all of this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment. And most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you're doing that, you will be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. And thank you so much. You are very much appreciated for being part of this channel. Enkosi kakhulu. Bye-bye.